Uh, so I'm guessing because you are here, Senor Luchadont, you have tracked down and locked Minnie back in the basement
He's
again.
he's back in his home where he belongs.
I mean, we had a good run for like 2 weeks or so, right?
He's pretty elusive when he wants to be. He's a large man, but when he wants to hide, he can hide.
That's very, very fair. Well, we could talk afterwards because I may or may not need him in a couple of weeks, but that's neither here nor there. But welcome back, Senor Luchadon. Happy to have you for this next installment of the Raw Squad reviews, your weekly WWE Monday Night Raw review teams. I am one of your hosts, Mikey, who is all clogged up and hopped up on cold medicine, so this is a good time. And of course, joining me this week, as you have noticed, is Senor Luchadon.
We back,
And we are,
baby.
yeah, buddy. And we are here to cover the Monday Night Raw from Monday, February 12th, 2024. We are 2 weeks away from Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber is
Jesus.
next Saturday. It's crazy how close
Jesus.
we are. I don't even know what's happening. Like, we are so close. And tonight we had a lot of stuff building towards Elimination Chamber and some WrestleMania builds, but we'll talk about those when we get there. So, without further ado, let's just jump straight in. We're going to keep it simple and clean. We're going to talk about the important bits. And the first thing we're going to talk about is, what opened up Monday Night Raw this week. We had a 6-person tag. We had Jey Uso and the New Day taking on Imperium. This match ruled. Jey Uso continues to prove that I was like, I kind of want to see him hold this IC title.
I think it might be him. I think he might. I don't think we're getting Jimmy versus Jay at
WrestleMania.
Mania. I think we're getting Gunther versus Jay.
Honestly, I would love for that to happen, but because we only really know of 2 matches. Well, technically, we know one for sure. I'm still waiting to see what the other shoe is. Waiting for the other shoe to drop for Cody and Roman, but that's neither here nor there. I thought this was a really, really nice match.
I like
I loved it.
Gunther had who did he have? I think he had Xavier and like a sharpshooter, a Boston Crab, and Jay just smacks the dog shit out of him.
It was so smooth. It was so good to watch. But yeah, the Superfly splash on Giovanni Vici to pick up the victory here. Again, this match ruled, and it served 2 purposes. It makes Jay look like an absolute star who can, is in contention to maybe take the title from Gunther. And on top of that, it also showed that 6-man and tag team matches, like, they can work in WWE, because this was a heck of an opener for Monday Night Raw this week.
It's how you open a show. That's how they should always be opening them shows. I like the new camera angles they're doing too, putting everybody like behind
Ooh,
like everything. That was cool.
right? I was like, whoever is in charge of doing the new camera angles, good job, because we notice these and it makes it. I'm so happy that we're doing less jump cuts every single time. So, once again, WWE, we get a long recap of the press conference that happened at WrestleMania. Professor and I talked a little bit about it on SmackDown, but really the important thing to come out of that news conference, press conference, whatever you want to call it, was the fact that we officially got Roman versus Cody. Rock is turning heel, and Seth got involved somehow, which we're going to talk about Seth later in the show because this boy is on fire, and I'm excited to talk about it. Then we get a quick little vignette of Andrade, which makes me super happy to see him back. And I love that he's just going straight back into his NXT character of he's like, I am Andrade, I am the best. A total Nacho Libre type of person, and I love it. And then when they were showing the highlight reel too, I forgot how good Andrade was. And I was like, hopefully this will allow him to do stuff in WWE. And I'm happy to have him back. Then we get our first Elimination Chamber qualifying match for the men. Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed.
Big
I'm going to be complete.
Bronson Reed.
Yeah, big Bronson Reed. I'm gonna be surprised. I'm gonna be honest. I was kind of surprised that Bobby won here. I thought they would let Bronson win,
I
because
think
we're
they're
going to Australia.
I think they're saving Bronson for a singles match, or they're gonna push him post Mania. I think he's poised for something. I just don't think it's happening now.
That's very fair. And I mean, this was your typical big hoss match where Bobby's a big boy, Big Bronson Reed's a big boy, and it was just a hoss match. That suplex and slam off the top rope. That was the thing of beauty to watch. I loved it. And I was kind of surprised. I was expecting Karrion Cross to get involved in this, and Karrion Cross was nowhere to be found. So I am super happy that Karrion Cross is not there. And he didn't mess up Bobby Lashley. Baller.
Banger.
So then, banger. So then, Sami Zayn, once again, is in an empty arena, gives this like pre-tape promo, and then Shinsuke appears on the screen and tells Sammy he has no reason to wallow in his misery, that he's going to remind him of his hidden emotions. I've been saying this all along. Give me Sammy versus Shinsuke, because this is a feud I want to see.
They had a phenomenal match back in NXT, and then they're just bringing it back, and it's gonna be. I was excited for the main event, and I was excited to see where this is gonna keep going. Those two guys are phenomenal, and it's gonna be dope. We'll talk about the match when we get to the match.
I'm so excited. I got to mentally prepare myself, because next, Cody Rhodes is in the ring.
What do you want to talk
Talks
about?
about what do you want to talk about. He's going to be challenging Roman at WrestleMania 40. And he can only do that because the fans rallied behind him and pushed back. Then we get a clip of The Rock on the Pat McAfee show, dubbing the term Cody Crybabies, which has set the internet in a tizzy. And The Rock also lists some things, that the Cody Crybabies can do. And basically talking a whole lot of crap about Cody, which I was like, perfect. You continue to build Rock up as a heel. We go from there. And then cue Seth Rollins' music. My God, Seth cut probably one of my favorite promos from this evening.
Dude, Cody Rhodes has been involved in some of the best promos in the past like 6 months. With everything with CM Punk, like a little bit in between, and now all of this, like Seth came out and was like, "You're not gonna lie, I'm partially responsible for Roman being the way he is." But in all reality, it wasn't partially. I think Seth is responsible for about 95% of why Roman does this. But you can go back, 10 years ago when they did all that stuff. Can't believe those guys have been in this company for this long. Then he said, "I'm gonna be your shield against them," and we're like, "Huh." I'm reading everywhere. Everybody's like, "Dude, we think Dean Ambrose is gonna come back." It's probably not gonna happen. Would be dope, but it was a dope thing, and it got like I had chills. I don't even like. I'm not a promo person, but that was dope.
This was an amazing promo, and it's setting up maybe we might see some sort of tag team match at WrestleMania between these four. I don't know. WrestleMania is always in chaos because everything can change at a drop of a dime, but Seth killed it with this one, and I love it. I love when Seth gets on the mic. He never disappoints me in his promos because he just keeps it authentic and he keeps it 100% real. And this one made me super excited at the tease. Maybe Seth will be in Cody's corner, or they'll team up to face The Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. Who knows? But we're continuing to build towards WrestleMania, and we're teasing everything, and everything's starting to fall into place slowly. Quickly backstage, as New Day and Jey Uso are celebrating, we get word that there's an Intercontinental Championship match next week between Gunther and Jey. I don't know, man. We'll see if Jey can pull it off with this one. This is going to be crazy.
Gunther's not dropping that belt on a non pay per view.
I don't know, man. This is going to be crazy. And then we get our next qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber. This time for the women, we saw Liv Morgan taking on Zoe Stark. I have to say, this is so far probably my favorite women's qualifying match so far that I've seen between Raw and SmackDown, because Zoe's great. I miss Liv Morgan in the ring so much.
Mommy Part 2, Liv Morgan.
I love Liv Morgan. And you know what? Despite going up against Zoe Stark, she picked up the victory, and Liv is heading to Australia for the Elimination Chamber. Listen, we only have 3 women already in there, and it's already looking to be one of my favorite matches. We have Becky, dude, Bianca, and Liv.
Stacked. The men's
That's just stacked already.
Stacked.
And then on SmackDown, we still have 2 more matches, and the possibility of who's going to end up being in it is going to be great, because on SmackDown, we're having Shotzi versus Tiffany Stratton and Naomi versus Zelina. And I'm like, you can't go wrong with any of those 4 women. But listen, the women's chamber is looking to be stacked, and I'm excited.
Dude, this chamber card is stacked as hell.
I mean, we have the men's chamber, the women's chamber. We're getting a tag team championship match between the Judgment Day and Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Rhea versus Nia. Like, this card is looking to be really fun, and I'm super excited for it. Though I'm probably going to wait until the evening to watch it, because I'm not getting up at 3 in the morning to watch this thing. Heck no.
Nope, I'm going to wait till the next
day. I believe in sleep.
I got Peacock. I can wait.
Yeah. And of course, we get our weekly R-Truth costly treble for the Judgment Day.
Well, this time Damian Priest finally just told him, it's not funny anymore, and I'm not your friends. We're done. And then he got in a match with JD, Big Head McDonough.
Yeah. I mean, it leads to a match with R-Truth and JD. Yeah. JD picked up the win here, and then they beat up poor R-Truth. Poor R-Truth. I will say, one thing I really enjoyed is R-Truth calling the Miz for backup in his match, even though Miz wasn't even there.
Dude, yeah, Miz was, where was Miz at? He was in Louisville. He was in Hollywood. He's like, get to Louisville. I know you're in Hollywood, but get to Louisville.
R-Truth is a national treasure. Protect him at all costs.
And it was nice to see JD finally get a win.
Seriously, because he's been nothing but losing the whole last couple months or so.
He had a new finisher. It's called the Devil Inside.
Yes. Which is a very interesting name for it. So, which is just a Saito suplex, but I love the Saito suplex. It's so good.
It's just edgy name, just like how Judgment Day is.
Yeah. So Judgment Day beat up R-Truth afterwards, and DIY come down for the save, which I was like, yes, more DIY, please.
All the time.
Then, quickly backstage, we get the bro moment. Cody and Sammy hugging it out because Cody believes in Sammy, and it was nice to see. And then we get into probably the weirdest segment of the evening. It started out pretty good because Becky Lynch, is on the mic. Anytime Becky's on the mic, she's awesome at it. Cutting a promo, how she's going to face Rhea. And then it got really weird because then Nia comes out, starts fake crying, starts hyping Becky up. Tells her that it's going to be Nia versus Becky at WrestleMania, not Rhea versus Becky. And then Rhea comes out, everybody starts fighting, and that's the segment. I was like, okay. This was weird. I'm sorry. This was a really weird segment. Becky's promo was fine, but then when Nia came out and everything afterwards was really weird.
It was strange. Let's just get to the next part. It was weird. It kind of did what it wanted to do. LA Knight was on the show. He faced Ivar for a qualifying match.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, so on paper, I was like, I'm not sure how this match is going to go. Honestly, this was a really good match too. I really enjoyed this match. Except I was a little distracted with Valhalla out there kind of trying to run interference. That was the only real thing that distracted me. But again, we continue to say how good Ivar is in the ring. But man, LA Knight and Ivar had a really good match this week. And
And
I
Ivar
was really
was
happy to see. So
so
good.
close. Ivar was so close to beating LA Knight, which would have been
Uh
insane.
huh. He came close. I was like, oh my gosh, they might actually put Ivar in this thing. And LA Knight hitting the BFT out of nowhere. I was like, oh, that's great. And again, I'm super happy to see that AJ didn't come interfere on LA Knight because LA Knight inadvertently cost AJ his qualifying match on SmackDown. But I was happy to see that our boy LA Knight is going into the chamber. Super excited for that. It's gonna be
Yeah.
great. Yeah. So then Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn, come against each other backstage. Drew tells Sammy to keep his name out of his mouth. Sammy tells McIntyre to get out of the way. Then we get our bumpers where we see that there's going to be a last chance battle royale for the final spot in the women's elimination chamber next week on Raw after we figure out who's going into, in the 2 SmackDown qualifiers. Now, we
I
say
can't break
battle
kayfabe.
royale.
Hold on. My eyes hurt.
Yep. Oh no, we're breaking kayfabe. We're breaking kayfabe.
I was sweating and I got it in my eye.
Oh, that's never a good thing. So while we take this moment to wait for Senor Luchadont to not break kayfabe, you can, while we wait for this, let's just do the housekeeping now. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel here at the Bi-Conics Wrestling Podcast YouTube. Follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod. And if you can't commit to watching our reviews, we now have audio versions of all these reviews too. So take us with you on the go. Now let's get back into it.
Minnie attacked
So
me.
as I stated,
It was a biological attack from Minnie.
Yep. So next Monday, we're going to have a last chance battle royale to see who goes in, which then cuts backstage where we see Chelsea Green. I love that Samantha is able to say her name the way that she has been before. It's so nice to see. I love it. But Chelsea's just not happy. And, she talks a lot of smack in front of Indy and Candice. She also talks smack about Shayna and Zoe, who then appear behind her. And we shall see who is going to take that final spot in the Elimination Chamber. So this should be fun. Okay, now we've come to the main event. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn. Jiminy H. Christmas, man. This was my match of the night.
Banger.
Oh my, I don't even know where to start with this one. This is literally like, oh yeah, we're watching Black and Gold NXT right here. Like, it was that good of a match, Senor Luchador. Like this,
Dude,
these
so
two men
good.
look like they were fighting for everything out there.
And the crazy, I love. Okay, so my favorite spot. Sammy goes for that, like the dive he does in between the turnbuckles, and gets caught with an enziguri midway through. I was like,
Ooh.
oh, that was so clean. He just like dangles there. I was like, bruh.
I have no words. This match was really, really great. I love one of my other favorite moves in this match is when Sammy hits a quick Michinoku driver on Nakamura. I was like, again, these two were killing each other. And you know what? Normally I don't like a schmaz finish, but because Drew necessarily didn't like get super heavy-handedly involved, it does make sense. And I'm wondering if we're still building towards this idea of a triple threat at WrestleMania for Seth's title between Seth, Drew, and Sammy.
That could be possible. I mean, especially after, like, yeah. So it sucks Sammy lost, but we've been saying for a while that Nakamura needs to pick up some wins. So
Yeah,
it was
because all he's been
nice.
doing is losing.
It was nice that he got a win. Sucks that it had to be it from Sami Zayn, but I think they're building this redemption thing that Sammy is doing. Like he's losing, 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 then finally picks up the big one at Mania. That's the hope. That's what they're doing with Sammy right
Yeah,
now. And I hope he didn't fuck up his arm. I'm not sure if you noticed he wiped
yeah. I
away
was
his
gonna
left arm.
say.
I hope that's
I was
not
gonna
hurt so bad.
say.
But
I hope not.
yeah,
We don't
after the
need it. We don't
match,
the beatdown.
Sammy got beat up by Drew and Nakamura, and then Cody Rhodes came out, and that was it. That was Raw.
Look at that. We covered a 3-hour show in 20 minutes because why? We kept to the important bits.
Why? Here's why. Sorry,
Is
Simon,
that
to us.
Simon Miller? Don't sue us. We are a big fan of yours. We love you.
Simon won't do that. I think he's too cool of a person.
I want to hang out with Simon Miller. Let's go get lunch, dude. I want to pick your brain about wrestling.
I just want to touch his head.
All right. So, him and his baldness. I love it. All right, Senor Luchadone. We here every single week. We give our rating. So what do you give this week's Monday Night Raw?
Like a 7 out of 10. It was super. It was easy to watch. Easy, a lot of good matches. That Rhea, Becky, and Nia bit with a little weird, kind of brought it down a little bit, but overall wasn't bad. It's kind of hard to give Raw a 10 out of 10 nowadays because it's being so damn long. But still wasn't that bad of a watch this week. So if you want to start watching to get ready for Mania, I would start with this Raw probably.
Yeah, because this is the second to last show. Because next week is the go home show for Monday Night Raw. Because then we will have Elimination Chamber next weekend. That's crazy how fast we've come up on Elimination Chamber already.
I feel like Rumble was yesterday.
Seriously. I also agree with you. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10 for Monday Night Raw. I definitely think this was a lot better of a show than last week's. That's for certain. Because last week's was kind of rough too.
Yeah.
This was a lot better. It was very to the point. We got some good wrestling. A lot of the focus is on the Elimination Chamber, which it makes a lot of sense, which I prefer. And then we got some stuff that is, teasing what could possibly be at Mania. Of course, my match of the night goes to Shinsuke and Sammy. While not necessarily like quite the masterpiece that their match was in NXT TakeOver Dallas 8 years ago, I'm just happy that we got to see these two interact again. And the fact that Shinsuke won, I'm not going to complain about either. But yeah, the Becky,
Absolutely.
Rhea, and Nia Jax promo was really weird and put in a weird spot. But the Elimination Chamber matches for the men and the women's side are really shaping up to be really fun matches.
They're going to be great. And I'm excited. I'm not sure who's going to win them.
Yeah, once we get the final slots for everybody, I'm not sure who's going to go where. And honestly, I'm going to enjoy the men's, but right now, because we have like I said, we have 2 more women's matches on SmackDown, and then we have the Battle Royale on Monday Night Raw. Honestly, the women's chamber might actually potentially steal the show if everyone goes all out for it. Because we already have Liv.
They did at War Games, and they did at Survivor Series War Games, and they did at Rumble. Like the women are going to dominate. They've been on a roll for WWE pay-per-views.
Oh, absolutely. All right, Senor Luchadonte. That is going to be it for us this week. We're going to get on out of here. I did the housekeeping stuff while you try not to break kayfabe. But if you like to see us, make sure you check us out more on YouTube, our social medias, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting network. All right, gang. From myself, Senor Luchadonte, Minnie, who's locked in the basement somewhere. And
Sub to the Patreon. Sub to the Patreon.
Yes, that is important. I almost forgot. And if you want to see never before seen exclusive watch along videos and exclusives, we have a Patreon. So go donate to that and be a part of our family and see some really fun stuff that doesn't make it to YouTube. Trust me, it's a good time. But for myself, Senor Luchadonte, Minnie, and the rest of the boys here, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and be kind to yourselves. That's the important bit. We'll see you next week for the Go Home Show before Elimination Chamber. But until then, ta-ta for now.
Bread.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.